When Denver city leaders unanimously approved a minimum wage hike last month, the decision was really met with broad support.
But it also left restaurant owners with a difficult decision. How do they survive and still pay their workers?
Denver 7's Jennifer Kovaleski is going 360 tonight on how certain restaurants are trying to boost kitchen pay and compensate for these rising wages.
Every Monday we do Vegan Mondays.
If you're dining out in Denver anytime soon,
Absolutely anything else I can get for you.
you may want to take a closer look at your bill. The wording varies from restaurant to restaurant.
We call it a kitchen livable wage surcharge.
It has KAP fee, 2%.
Please be advised that we have added a 10% service fee.
What that extra fee is paying for also depends on where you dine.
Annette splits tips evenly.
And here's where we need to go 360 with 6 perspectives, from a restaurant owner in the Highlands to a chef in Aurora, both dishing up different models. A sous chef benefiting from one fee to a server now having to pool his tips, and customers for and against the practice.
We're just setting up for our dinner tonight.
Let's start in Denver's Highlands neighborhood.
Wild mushroom risotto for the entree.
Duo Restaurant has been serving up farm-to-table dishes for more than a decade.
Just about everything has changed in the last 14 years.
Since then, the cost of living has skyrocketed. Owner Bobby Rayborn wanted to make sure his kitchen staff could keep up.
It's not like there's an excess of funds to pay kitchen staff.
So 2 years ago, they added a 2% kitchen livable wage surcharge.
Again, it was a very scary thing for us. We spent a lot of time talking about it. We thought, hey, this could break our business. Is it worth it? And we unanimously said, yeah.
Ahead of the times. Rayborn says they haven't seen much pushback from customers.
We had one guy call a week after the story came out and just call on the phone and just ask if we're going to start charging to use the bathroom, and then hung up the phone. And that was it.
The key, he says, is making sure they know what they're paying for.
Everybody we talk to gets it. They're proud to be a part of it, and our kitchen staff couldn't be happier.
For him, this is about making sure all of his employees are paid fairly. A server or bartender makes less than minimum wage, but they can double or triple their hourly rate with tips. The minimum wage for kitchen staff is $11.10, and under his model, legally, they can't receive tips.
The average cost is about 37 cents per guest.
He says that average increases the kitchen staff wage by $2 an hour, keeping dishwashers and cooks like Chris Mendoza happy.
It's a nice for us to be recognized, because a lot of the tips can really go to the front of the house.
Mendoza says the increase means he can afford rent in the city.
It has done wonders for where I'm at right now.
As for his take on the concept,
I think a lot of more restaurants should be doing it, but yeah, that's my point of view.
across town,
Delicata squash. We do an endive salad off the grill.
Annette in Aurora's Stanley Marketplace is serving up a different model.
It didn't feel fair. I feel like the kitchen is putting in just as much work as front of the house.
Here, chef and owner Caroline Glover pools tips, splitting them evenly between front and back of house staff.
I want people to feel like they can pay their bills. It makes a happier working place.
She can legally do this by paying all of her staff the full minimum wage.
So I think that the system, the tip system, where one portion of the restaurant gets all of that, is super archaic.
Glover is shaking up the traditional model to close the pay gap. She thinks it's time for more restaurants to break the mold.
This needs to happen, right? Like restaurants need to start coming up with different systems.
Miles Mazie serves up drinks and food at Annette. He's made his own tips for years, but is now fully behind tip pooling.
I didn't really take much of a pay cut, if at all, working here.
Mazie says the model is breaking down barriers between servers and kitchen staff and helps create a team culture, often missing from restaurants.
I see it as the future.
So what do diners forking over the extra cash think of these fees?
The food was wonderful.
Diana Vigil just enjoyed lunch at Lodo's Cholon restaurant.
I think people should make a living wage if they're working.
She's fine with the 2% cap fee they're charging. And for those of you wondering, that stands for Kitchen Appreciation Program fee.
Oh, the 2% was on there.
But if we're being honest, she didn't notice the fee until we told her about it.
I didn't notice the service fee at all. I didn't.
Is this drinks for you ladies?
Other diners like Bob Newland aren't sold and say it could cost these restaurants a customer.
They're getting paid more, but they may not get our business as much.
Here's the bottom line. Most restaurants operate on slim profit margins. And with Denver's minimum wage hike going into effect next month, you'll likely see more restaurants start charging a fee or raise menu prices to survive. Jennifer Kovaleski, Denver 7.
All right, we want to know what you think. Email us at 360@thedenverchannel.com, and you can also send us a message on Facebook or Twitter.